Good afternoon, everybody, and it's my pleasure to talk about today about the food waste work we have done in schools in Estonia, and how how we see that the integrated approach in this is needed to actually get to some results. So I guess the regular or usual approach is that the school food waste work has to be done or should be done in kitchens and canteens and by the catering service providers. But it's not only, this is not the only place where tackling food waste is important. There's also important to involve teachers and students and the whole schools actually into this work, and I will come back to each of these in a bit. So reducing food waste in the kitchens, that's kind of to start this work and to have like a systematic work choices should start from measuring food waste, and I think this is something that is being done now in many countries to understand, but it's not just to give like the overview of at the country level, but also each school or each kitchen gets some information about how much food waste is created, and also what are the causes of food waste in order to know what to do. So in Estonia, we have also carried out different food waste studies throughout the years in cooperation with, or these studies have been commissioned by the Ministry of Estonia as part of the food waste studies in general to know about the situation in Estonian food chain. But also in recent years, we have had a good cooperation with one of the service providers that operates under Daily brand, and who's also partner in this StratKit project. So what we have done in our food waste studies is to collect during 5 days 4 categories of waste. One is inedible waste, then also spoiled food, food surplus, which is a food that is ready-made food but is not eaten or at the end of the day, and then plate leftovers, which is then taken by the kids or given the portions which they haven't finished and throw away. 4 or 5 years, or it's actually already 6 years ago when we did the first study, we started out with only 3 schools, but now in recent years, together with Daily service provider, we have been able to carry out the study in many more schools. But the situation is, and this is just to know that the results from 2020 or from this year, we haven't been able to analyze deeply yet, so we only have preliminary results. But what we see there is that schools, as food is, or school food is quite cost efficient, so they cannot really afford themselves to get any food stuff spoiled. So we don't see any spoiled food in schools. And also the inedible part of the food is getting smaller as a lot of the ingredients are kind of purchased already halfly processed, like peeled potatoes and other vegetables. So the main food waste that coming from schools is food surplus and plate leftovers, and we can see that the plate leftovers is a bigger part of this. And when we look at the part of the portion that's this data is from the last year's study, then we can see that around, well, close to maybe 10% of the portion is still getting wasted, but that's kind of 55 grams per portion. So there's still work to be done in this to reduce this. So this is a good information for the service provider also, how to go on from there and what can be done in kitchens. And obviously preparing the right amount is one of the first steps, so that enough, if not more, is prepared than is eaten, and also serving the right amount. And this is one of the problems maybe when food is served as given portions, and kids obviously eat different amounts, so that can be a little bit problematic when all portions are given out to kids. But in Estonia, self-serving is becoming bigger, much bigger, or more common, and kids can take the amount that they want. But of course, this is something that at the same time requires a lot of awareness also, and an understanding by the kids that it's their hands also how much food they take, so that they don't take more than they actually eat. And also using leftover food, and that means then the food that is surplus in the kitchen, not the plate leftovers, to using the side dishes, already boiled potatoes or rice. How to use this in a kitchen in the next day, for example, is something that kitchens can then decide how they can do it, and what more can be done there. And also we have had first experiences with food distribution from schools, so that surplus food can be redistributed, and either then this has been done in different ways through food bank, or also to close by elderly homes or elderly people. But the cooperation with food bank is kind of a new thing, and this started out in spring in one of the cities, but due to coronavirus, this was sort of postponed. So there's not much to share experiences yet about this, but something that we definitely can bring up again later when the situation gets better with the virus. And also we can see that we have been talking here about changing the menus. You can see that increasing vegetable is definitely something good for the health, but for some reason, and I guess this is a common problem, kids are not so happy or eager to eat vegetables, so that can sort of create also more food waste. So there has to be a really clever way to do the vegetables so that they are also tasty and kids would eat it. And another thing is to give more variety and more options during the day, which is something that parents maybe also want. And it's good from one point that kids can choose maybe from different options, but at the same time, if these options need to be all the way till the evening, then there's also risk of increasing food waste, which we actually have also experienced. there's like this dilemma there. And of course, then teachers also can do a lot in their work to integrate the whole issue of food and food waste in curriculum, and also in the subjects that they teach. There are different possibilities to do that. Also integrate this in the project work and other assignments, and to explain this also more to students. What is the problem, and why how the students can be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And of course, they also have to be always a good examples for the students. And students themselves, they can then of course also follow the instructions, so to say, that they what they take and how do they eat their food is something that they can influence, and also the knowledge that they get about food waste can be taken then to homes. So that is how this knowledge is also taken to different households. And schools in general here are also sort of the whole school approach is something that takes together the whole teachers and students. So one of the things that is important here is how to make the food as a topic interesting, so that I don't think school food has quite bad reputation, and often kids don't even remember when they come home from school what did they eat. But it's something that maybe should be more brought up to make it more interesting, and a topic that they would also talk at home. So that's very important. But in school also, of course, can touch the topic through via procurement, so that the food waste issue also is put in the procurement, which is not maybe not so common yet, but it's something that is getting more practiced. And also to the schools itself to bring this the awareness of the school waste also via, for example, different campaigns. And I can bring you one example that we had here in Estonia, together again with this daily service provider, when they had a campaign where kids at school could cook together with their school chefs. And that is one of the reason was to show them and get acquainted of the people in the kitchen, working in the kitchen, and to see how food is made in the kitchen, and that it's all safe and clean and nice actually, and the staff are usually nice. So we had this campaign in 14 different schools where kids cooked together with their chefs or school chefs, and also we had this food or food waste discussion round. And this was really well taken by media as we went to different parts in Estonia. Then this topic also actually got in all to the local newspapers, which was really really nice. Yes, I am actually almost done. Just to bring up this conclusion that it's a problem of food waste, and solving the food waste is not done in just by single parties, but there has to be some integration and cooperation of different parts in schools, teachers, students, and kitchens, and then how that we can get closer to solving this problem. Yes, thank you all for listening, and here are my contacts also if there are some personal questions for me via email.
Okay, so my name is Rita Goralska-Walczak, and I'm researcher at WUS. My area of expertise is public catering, And today I will be talking about introducing food waste measurements in Polish public institutions, which is a part actually of our Polish pilot study on public catering within StarKit project. Okay, so as you already heard, we are working with the city of Rybnik, which is actually a perfect city for to develop a pilot on sustainability in public procurement and catering service. Why? Because it has 54 schools and kindergartens within the inside house kitchen, and also one nursery, which is actually cooking for 2 other nurseries. That in total gives us around 10,000 students and around 150 kids in nursery. And this means that it gives us around 5,000 school lunches and 5,000 kindergarten lunches. So that just is a perfect way to develop a city policy on sustainability and public procurement, right? And we are very excited for our pilot. The city has also a social care home with 144 people and 11 workers connected to the cafeteria. So there is a lot of work to be done here too. It has, however, its challenges. The city of Rybnik is a very nice city, but it is situated in the south of Poland in Silesia province, which is highly polluted due to hard coal mining and heavy industry. Therefore, any organic food should be ordered from environmentally cleaner parts of Poland. That, of course, complicates logistics and increase price of the food that is already a little bit higher priced. Another problem is that citizens are accustomed to Silesian cuisine, which is actually very heavy in meat. Consequently, they are very skeptical about innovative and modern plant-based diet. Last but not least, there is an evident lack of food and environmental education, which is causing misunderstanding and a sustainable action for change. However, our research showed that the sustainable goals are possible. We conducted the research with the stakeholders connected to public catering, with Rybnik and outside the Rybnik, and we established 3 aims that we want to achieve in this pilot. So creating sustainable menus, introducing organic food, and working on food waste reduction. We have already started actions. We are creating a complex food health environmental education for different stakeholders. We are preparing practical culinary workshops. We are trying to overpass lower price criterion by adding GPP criteria and quality standards. We are trying to map organic farmers. And we are working on modern analysis of actual level of food waste, which I will be talking about today, of course, with my colleague who will come after me. So we actually started in the social care home, our food waste measurements, mostly because coronavirus forbid us to go into the schools since they were closed. So my colleague started the food waste measurement, the physical food waste measurement, and I was doing my research on food quality and my service. So then I discovered that 100% of interviewed people who are living in this home said that they have absolutely no influence on creating the menu. 70% answered that they feel the need to introduce higher quality of vegetables and fruits. I also asked them about their wish list, and they told me that they would love more diversity, more spices, more salad, less processed meat, more fish, and they all would welcome regional dishes. They also were mentioning that they would like dishes like tomato soup from real tomatoes, or like sauces without densifiers. So as you can see, those people, they are actually going into sustainable goals direction. So title of our workshops, of our pilot, is how to introduce organic product and sustainable diet and how to diminish the food waste. Why? Because it is all connected. As we could discover through all of these sessions, it is all connected. And I made some pictures of the dishes served there or the product used. And there is obviously a lot of work to be done. And we do believe that the way we eat is a fundamental agent to change towards sustainability. So we have in mind to increase the proportion of cereal, vegetables, and fruits, and to decrease food waste, obviously. And here's all the examples that you can need. So you can see this is the dish served in the social care home. And it doesn't look bad, right? There's not something that those people are think that is something wrong with it when they are serving it, right? The staff is thinking that they do all they can for that amount of money. But if you look closer, this is the dish served to the people who are elderly, who have other diseases. And generally, I would think that not a lot of people could finish this piece of meat, right? So we need to, but it's not the fault of the people who are serving it. It's the fault of the lack of education. It's the fault of lack of action towards sustainability, towards the understanding environmental issues, health issues. And we cannot repeat anymore that, you know, a public institution, they don't have enough money, then don't have enough workers, they don't have enough time. So we need to act. And how we act is we collaborate. The city collaborates with scientists and it collaborates with the institution. You can see how the healthy plate looks like. You can see the proportions: vegetables, fruits, whole grain, healthy protein. Of course, these proportions are not there, okay? The sustainability is not there. And if we want to tackle the issue of sustainability of health, we cannot only tackle the issue of food waste, because this is what it will leave you with. And my colleague now, Tomasz Szuba, will talk more about how actually the measurement work out in the social care home. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Let me put the presentation on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tomasz Szuba. Hello. I'm CEO of Venturis Horeca, Food Waste Management Group. We have developed the IT system to measure the structure, quantity, and value of food waste. You would be very much surprised how much food we actually waste. This waste has a cost, and our job is to reduce waste, reduce cost, and generate savings. Rita.
I'm sorry, somebody has the microphone on. Can you please turn it off?
So Rita discussed qualitative aspects of analysis of social care house in Rybnik. My part is to discuss more quantitative analysis, focus on production versus food waste. Why quantitative analysis on food waste is so important? Well, paraphrasing Peter Drucker, US management guru, if you measure the waste, you can manage the waste, and usually canteens have a habitual problem. They produce more food than people actually eat. And one of the key reasons is that they have no clue how much and what actually people eat. So above all, what we were trying to find out was if demands from social care house were justified. They were saying we need more money for food, budget is too small, we cannot afford better quality raw materials, for example. So let's check in this case if demands are really their needs. In general, for us, food waste was all the food processed, prepared, served, but not eaten at the end of the day. For 5 days, we were monitoring all 3 meals served per day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the usual Polish lunch consists of 5 elements: soup, which is standard and always served; Second course, salad, potatoes, rice, usually a piece of meat. The last component is compote or some kind of beverage. All of it is usually served through a window directly onto a plate by the personnel or nurses in residence room if somebody is handicapped. So please have a look at overall results. The blue column shows all 15 meals with beverages, and the red column is food but without beverages. As we see, only 84% of prepared foods and beverages is actually consumed by residents, and 79% if we exclude beverages. So food waste for 5 days is 272 kilograms with beverages or 205 without. A bit of food waste general characteristics. Majority of food waste is generated by leftovers on plates. So the question is, why do we have leftovers? And usually there are 3 reasons. First, portions are too big. Second, people don't like the food. Or third, there is some kind of mixture of those 2. So food waste in that case is usually generated mostly by lunches. Summing up, we know that kitchen prepares 1.37 kilograms of food per day per person, and an average resident eats only 1.08 kilogram per day. Difference per day per person is 290 grams. Not so much. Well, yes, perhaps per person per day, but in that case, the scale makes a difference. So let's see the forecast for the whole year. It shows that without beverages, this social care house for 144 persons generates almost 15 tons of processed food in the bin, and more than 50% of it is leftovers. And just a small illustration of what is discarded in a yearly forecast. So you see that they probably discard almost 1,500 kilograms of bread, 4,000 kilograms of soup, and almost 2,500 kilograms of second course. So how much do we lose in terms of monetary value? Please have a look. The total yearly budget for food in this house is 131,000 euro. 20% or 26,000 euro is wasted and goes to the bin. So what could we buy for 26,000 euro? We all might have pretty creative ideas, I'm pretty sure. Well, for example, we could buy a new Jeep Compass, for example. So what is a mechanism to generate savings? And this is just a small illustration. Let's take one of the soups that they served in social care house. So kitchen prepared 34 kilograms for 170 persons as a special diet. And you see residents only ate 23 kilograms. So to prepare 34 kilograms of soup, they used the following ingredients. You see it on the screen: water, chicken, turkey, etc. So next time when we have the same soup in the menu, we shouldn't prepare 34 kilograms. Let's prepare, say, 25 kilograms, have 2 kilograms of buffer. And by proportion, decreasing amount of food to be prepared also means the less ingredients. So we don't need anymore so much chicken, turkey, etc. So let me pose the last question. Knowing what we know at the moment, would you agree to increase budget on food in this social care house? I will leave you with this question. Thank you very much for your attention.